So now what we're going to do is we're going to start focusing on our project. So no more practices just for practicing. Now we're going to start designing how we want the boxes, where we want the boxes. The packet is fairly big. You're not going to finish it all today, but towards the end you will decide on what your subject matter is going to be. Very similar to when we did the Romero Brittle project and you got to decide whether you're going to do words or whether you were going to do an object. So starting off with the front side, as always on the top, go ahead and start with your first name and your last name. And your class code for 5th grade, you are going to be 5E if you are in Mr. Erickson's class. You are going to be 5G if you are in Mr. Gradell's class. 5M if you are in Mrs. McCone's class. And 5B if you are in Miss Brandel's class. So we're going to start off with our picture in landscape mode for this project, which means it's laying down and it's longer horizontally than if we had it flipped portrait, which it would be longer and taller going vertical. As you can see, there are no squares drawn for you, but at your table we have little square stencils and we have rectangular stencils. Before you can decide where all your squares are going to go, we need to block off 2 locations anywhere on our picture plane except for the center. That is going to be blocked off for whatever your subject matter is going to be. So these can go anywhere and they can go in any direction. So I'm just going to do mine in the corners, but you can put yours anywhere. Once you have it lined up, hold down the stencil and gently trace around all 4 sides. And this is an area that I know that I'm not going to be putting one of my smaller boxes, and this is where one of my images that I'm going to be drawing is going to go later. So you need 2 of these. It won't fit over here because we don't want it overlapping or touching. So I do want it on the right hand side. This is also going to help with balancing our picture out. It would be pretty predictable to put it in the lower right hand corner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide it up. I'm going to just put it in the middle. And again, I'm going to hold it down. And I'm going to slowly trace around it, holding on tight to my stencil so that it doesn't start moving. So now what I have is I have 2 areas blocked off. I will be drawing an image of some kind there later, but I know that I do not want to be putting any of my small squares in those 2 spots. With the small square, you can put that anywhere other than on your rectangles. You don't want them on top of each other, but we at least want 3 or more. So maybe I want to put one down here in the lower left-hand corner. So just like with our rectangle, I'm going to go ahead and hold it and draw my square. So there's 1. Maybe now I'm going to go up towards the top. Here's number 2. have some room. So maybe I'm going to put it down here, but I'm going to put it closer towards the center. For number 3. And again, if you wanted to be done right now, you could be. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put one up here. And I'm actually going to draw my square off the paper because I think that that's interesting, and it is definitely not something a lot of people would think about doing. So I'm thinking literally outside of the box. So I went ahead and I did 1, 2, 3, 4, and I have my 2 larger rectangles. The only ones that you don't have to take to the vanishing point would be your 2 large rectangles. So when you are finished, you'll have all 4 boxes going back into space to the vanishing point. And here's the reason why drafts are really important. I'm not a big fan of this box being so close because the side is actually touching another square, which isn't wrong. And you can do that. You would just have to decide which one is going to be over top and erase the other one so that it looks like it's going behind one or the other. The other nice part about the drafts is I'm not a big fan of this, but I'm not going to spend any time erasing right now because I know that I have time in class right now when I'm done to do a second, a third, and even a 4th draft if time permits. Okay. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to decide how long, how tall and long our boxes are going to be next.